is just fantastic.
So over the weekend, I thought it right to allow what we discussed on Friday to flesh itself out, as it were. Allow for responses to come forward and for any points of criticism to surface. For example, some drew on the fact that XQC had also reacted to Content Nuke and he wasn't getting sued. I can happily address this one by stating, we know the reason why. XQC wasn't trying or going out of his way to infringe upon copyright, whereas the other three, Casey Tron, Frogan and Denims, all admitted in their responses that they were, when, dealing with dead air, there was some commentary here and there, they were intentionally infringing upon copyright, and they didn't care. Others would point towards the lack of criticism aimed, or the lawsuit aimed at Hasan. I'm sure he's down the road, but right now, these three are first. All three of whom have started GoFundMes with varying levels of success, and I thought I'd let that slide for a bit, give it a bit of time just to see the level of support we were dealing with before we got some responses from them. In the case of Casey Tron, at time of recording, $8,790 of a $100,000 goal. In the case of Denims, of a $100,000 goal, down from the $150 of the previous attempt, $27,876. Frogan, of a $200,000 goal, $26,096 raised. Congratulations to all three of you for successfully raising sod all. And because it tickled me to no end, I want to show a few of the comments. Take for example, Bong Water, $5. I hope this donation helps you find a good rehab center after Ethan takes your bong away. If we go to Denim's support thing, this is for Ethan from Raxan. You are cooked. $5. I see the whole point Ethan made of, I need some money of your GoFundMe's left so I can actually get something out of this, is resonating with an audience. The first comment, the most recent one, on Frogan's, $5 from Dash K. Quote, after nearly 2 years of a targeted harassment campaign against Ethan Klein, he has now escalated it into suing me. There, I fixed your opening statement and the $5 is for my boy Ethan, family. I love that people are taking support and trolling to a level where, ooh, let's just do it this way instead because it's funnier. There are a lot of comments under all three, not as many under Casey Tron's, mostly because people don't believe she actually raises the money for anything other than weed. But the level of the trolling and the level of support is very telling. And that's important. Trolling is important as well. Not that any of these individuals will take any of this criticism or learn from it unless a court goes, nah. I don't know if that's going to happen and you're not raising enough money to settle it at all. So he has every right, every reason to go in on. You've been going after everything, including what his wife owned, for years now, I might add. So this could get spicier, couldn't it now? Now perhaps would be a good time to start going through some clips from Casey Tron being responded to by Ethan and of course Denims because, well, this is an opportunity to make some content. In the case of Casey Tron, so she can buy more weed. In the case of Denims, so she can promote her low-cut thirst posts more. And a complete lack of response with significant gaps in between every other word.
No, this one, yeah.
Like,
She's just always out in the wild.
I would hate to be one of her employees.
Dream was taking tip of $2.
Oh, and then now she starts doing the smart
Oh
shit.
my god, what a bitch.
Because and by the way,
Why do you need to go after a small business in LA that supports people in LA that has good conditions and people like to work there? Why do you guys have to try to make it miserable for people at their job? Like, why?
Getting our employees targeted harassed.
No offense intended to Casey Tron, who at one point was funny back when they were on the Drunken Peasants many years ago, but for the sake of what you're going up against, you don't need to drag Ethan's wife or Ethan's wife's businesses into this. I know you need something to latch onto to poison the well with, but your ad homs mean nothing. They also carry no weight, somewhat ironically considering who it's coming from.
By the way, my company has 75% women working at the company. This is a female-owned brand, majority female workers there. Everybody is local. Everybody is well compensated. Like, why? How are you a leftist? I don't understand.
They're not. They just.
Well,
wouldn't-
even is she?
She is, yeah. She is technically.
And why do you have such a hate boner for me? I've never even known her. I don't know anything
these
about
people-
you.
This is where you know Frogan Denims and Casey Tron, many others in fact, they don't really have much in the way of a leg to stand on. In some cases, almost literally, because they don't know what they're going into, they don't inform themselves, they just attack. It's turd flinging 101. It's done by those who are incapable of giving a moment to actually think rather than articulate a completely contrarian point. Which is why, when we'll get to Denims soon, a lot of what she says has massive dead air in it. And I'm going to leave it in. It'll still be fair use, but for 30 seconds, you're not getting 10 to 20 words, you're getting 1 to 5.
Well,
See,
they
and then-
spend all day on snark.
Oh my God.
And they literally get snark brained.
Ah! Jesus! Look out! Look out!
Okay, now we're doing
tell
Monsters
you guys
Inc.
what I fucking went through to figure that out.
Oh, you
I'm
did,
glad.
though.
I'm glad. Yes, thank you.
Good job, baby.
Yo,
Wait, what happened?
He
look
changed
at the background.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, we should mention Hasan's reaction to all of this. It's not much of a reaction. It's buried in a clip concerning Noah Samson.
I personally don't care to even entertain Ethan Klein at this point. I think every time the drama goes away, he purposely does something incredibly embarrassing. To basically create legal drama against people who are much smaller as content creators than he is, with frivolous litigation that will most likely be tossed aside by any competent judge.
Firstly, you are not a legal expert. Do not think to speak for anyone within the legal profession based on your own skewed interpretation of what you deem fact to be. They, and you I might add, have all violated fair use far too often. The reaction space needs to be held accountable. They are fantastic pawns to use to make this point. You reaction channels need to change. You are not a legal expert in copyright law. If you were, you'd know any sane judge would say, shut up, Hasan. That'd be all of them, though. Yeah, all of them. Even the ones that are stupid. Now, there has been some speculation that what Ethan did constituted entrapment. Legal Mindset was asked about this, and this is what he had to say on the matter.
Lonesome Poet says, just got here and wondering if what Ethan did is considered entrapment. And sorry, and once again, I want to explain this stuff. I'm just laughing in general. So, and that's not a thing. You're probably thinking about like police entrapment or something else different. This is not criminal. This is copyright infringement. So no, there's no such thing in the law of entrapment. It's enforcing your right. And I use the example once again of the house, right? So it's like putting an alarm on your house. Is that trapping the burglar? No.
I've used entrapment before, but only to win a slap bet. It was a very good win, though, I will admit. Good, clean win. I got 5 free slaps on a housemate. It was fantastic, and he deserved every single one of them. The final one coming at the moment of his graduation. It was a fantastic day. Now let's move on to some of the absolute deliciousness that comes out of the mouth. One of the very few times something good could ever come out of Denims, who has a few perspectives with all of this. All that I find to be quite tickle-worthy.
Here, we'll make this a grander, on a grander scale. If you check your bank account and like Chase accidentally refunded you an extra $50, you might look at that and be like they were supposed to refund you for some charge or something, and then they accidentally gave you another $50. And you see that, and you're like, I didn't see anything. Well, listen, they can correct it. They can find it themselves. They can correct it. I don't really care that much, all right? I don't really care that much.
What I love is Ethan's video is remarkably simple to follow, but you've had to try and complicate it with a false equivalence that is your attempt to try and seem more, well, brochurelist than you ordinarily are. But okay, I'm impressed that we've managed to get you talking for a lengthy period of time. We'll get some of that dead air later, don't you worry, guys. I know you're looking forward to it, just as much as I am.
If some old lady on the street is like, hey, do you have change for a $10 bill? Nobody carries cash around. But like, do you have change for a $10 bill? I just need to pay the meter. And she hands you a $50 bill instead of a $10 bill and says, oh, you know, times are so tough right now, but you know, gotta pay the meter. And you keep the 50. See how one of those feels morally worse? One of those feels like you're stealing from someone who does need it, or you're stealing from, I don't know, not a corporation. One of those feels worse. We're not talking about legality. It's theft regardless. We're talking about what is morally worse.
If that's going to be your legal defense, I can't wait to see Ethan Klein's victory parade. He'll use what little money he gets from all of you to hire a bus, just so he can celebrate with some kind of championship belt. Because if he's the straw that finally sets fire to all the reaction channels that steal content, cool. Next on the list can be all those AI users fake their content, because I think you should go as well. In your case, Denims, you earned a lot of money on a recent stream. You make good money on your streams, in fact. You promote stuff on your Twitter all the time. You're always promoting what makes you money. If you don't like or don't think you're making much money, don't like that you don't have much money or think you're poor because of it, chances are you live in the wrong place. Because I hear there are lower taxes elsewhere. Better quality of life as well. Now, very kindly on the Twitters, Yeet, the biggest of big fans of the progressive streamers that steal content, tweeted out a time-lapse of over 47 seconds from April 2025 to recent, just to show the arrogance of Denims at the start to how this changed with time.
How's the lawsuit going? Nowhere, because Ethan Klein's too much of a sue me, because he knows he'll lose. I love these people, though, that are like, any day now, he's gonna sue. Chat, just a reminder, by the way, after he paraded on the internet about how he was gonna sue me and he wanted to sue me, guess what? Still no lawsuit. Oh my god, he's so bitch made. I'm actually pretty certain that his lawyer told him to stop going after me. His lawyer most likely said, dude, you need to stop. You actually need to stop.
One thing I don't recommend any reaction streamer to do is put too much of this arrogance into the online space. When you're so full of yourself that when a consequence comes your way, you can only act one way. That one way will involve a lawsuit having quotes of you shoving it. Yeah, it's quite unbecoming and amusing at the same time. More amusing in my mind anyway.
Whatever, you think I'm an idiot, you think I'm the dumbest person alive, that's fine. Go read the lawsuit. Maybe if you don't want to respect me, you can go respect a judge and a lawyer.
Lol, cope better. In the case of Frogan, there was only one way of going about handling this, and I should insert it now before we go back to one more clip from The Denims. Frogan deleted all the VODs, or privated. Now, it's worse if they deleted. If they privated, I kinda get it. If you delete them, well, smartness levels go down ever so slightly, because they can't go much lower. They're reaching a point of absolute zero. It's impressive, really. In the case of Denims, they're still using it as a chance to farm for additional clicks, farm for additional likes, subs, follows, because this is an opportunity. Drama, if you handle it the right way, and if you're in the middle of it, can be incredibly lucrative. And if you're a good Ferengi, your earlobes are primed to be rubbed right now.
Yeah, if you go to my channel right now, you can see. Oh my god. Videos, highlights. And here it is. Here's the highlight. This is the highlight that I uploaded so that I could have it on record.
There are a couple things about that make it not so much a flex. First of all, a reaction to somebody else's content is not a flex, nor are the views you got for your highlight. I promise you that. Maybe this is why you're slightly worried about this lawsuit. Yeah. It's also ironic that you're using this now to farm for clicks when you then accuse others of doing the same concerning the situation.
So if you would like an easy block list, this tweet, I left replies open, 1.5k replies, easy block list. The number of replies in here that say skank, whore, OnlyFans, etc.
What I love is that rather than go through the tweets, you're pulling buzzwords out of your head when you could just go through the tweets, which, when you do, you'll see a vast number of them simply saying, God, I can't wait for Ethan to win, here's money for Ethan for when he wins, calling you a grifter, scam artist, and a reaction channel lowlife. But ad homs are what you hyper-focused on rather than the substance of the tweets. An easy block list, you're quite right it is. If you're bitch made, which is a term you use to describe Ethan.
I think we all know, Ethan, the audience that you are trying to obtain. Okay? I think we know. To pretend like the people that you're suing just happen to be women and that there isn't a very obvious desire to...
Seriously, that was natural dead air that I didn't have to stretch out. You so desperately want to articulate a sexism point that has already been debunked by his own wife. You don't have a leg to stand on here. You wish you did, but reality is you're just not capable or competent enough to have one. And it's got nothing to do with your biological sex or your gender. No, it's entirely because of you as the individual. The fact you three happen to be all women is completely coincidental, and also reliant on the fact that all three of you bragged about misusing copyright. This is a copyright case. You're going to lose.
Obtain viewers that are the most sexist people possible. Just be real for 2 seconds, okay? Just be real.
When the arrogance is inevitably wiped off your face, I keenly await you to do more streams and e-beg like there's no tomorrow to pay Ethan the settlement you'll have to pay. When it looks obvious enough you're going to lose, and if you continue to double down like this, God, I can't wait for him to take you to the cleaners. Your offices are going to look barren. I feel like I need to emphasize that word, but it'd be sexist for me to wish hope on that.
You're on X, what do you expect? I don't want to defend Ethan, but he isn't even on there. He's not on there because he can't handle criticism, which he's admitted. There's a clip of it. There's a clip of him saying he can't handle the criticism, which is why he doesn't use Twitter anymore.
Actually, what led to him quitting Twitter was getting banned by Elon Musk for parodying him, but not putting it in the part of his profile where it's meant to say parody. And then he just didn't come back because of that. He had no reason to come back either, as he does well enough away from it. Him not being able to handle criticism on Twitter at this point is utterly redundant.
But it's also in my YouTube comments, in his YouTube comments, in my Twitch chat, and in my Instagram comments. Literally, probably thousands at this point of comments that are anywhere from whore to...
I'm not going to deny they exist, because I don't care enough. I care enough that you don't even have the energy with this low-effort format to simply pull up a tweet to prove it. If it matters so much to you to use it to drive home a point, then arbiter of truth, tell us more, but with a citation as opposed to anecdotal. This is the level of delusion we're dealing with, and this is why I'm so keenly interested in watching things unfold over time to see just how far down the rabbit hole they're willing to fall before they bother to bury their pride somewhere else and simply accept their style of content is a load of plop, and they should be held accountable for violating fair use, especially as there is nothing remotely transformative about anything they've done. It is just ad hom after ad hom after ad hom, anecdotal evidence here and there. Oh, but the sexism, guys, the sexism, to further ad homs and anecdotal evidence. How boring. And that's coming from me, a very boring man. As we've reached the end of this, I'd love to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If I don't see you on Twitch later for Dawn of War Retribution, is that what I'm playing? Yes. Hope to see you there. If not, have a wonderful day, and thank you all very much for listening.